Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hardcore Heroes Arcadia Episode 2. Nick, how are you doing today?
Feeling excited, very excited. Yeah, we had a really good episode last time. I feel like I got a lot of shit done. Went
Mm-hmm.
well, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to keep going.
Excellent. So, what happened last time? It's all on you, and we don't have a recap, so give us a recap.
Um, okay. So I think really what I did was start putting out, sowing the seeds for running Shirebrook properly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now hard pressed to remember every single thing I did, but I think the highlights were commandeering a heal scroll from the temple and curing Rohanna, making her my chancellor. I
You
sent
made
some woman.
Rohana your chancellor?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
It's not a paid
Uh,
position yet, right? It's just a
no, it's just
position.
if I leave town, you're in charge kind
Cool.
of deal.
All right.
I sent a messenger to Misty Rapids to find Georg, send him a note saying, I want to talk to him. I sent a woman to Thornwood to buy some puppies and set up a dog training place in Shirebrook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if I did anything else like in the town. Oh, yeah. So like all of the jewelers and expensive shops in the town centre that had their owners disappeared by whatever this thing is had their shops looted and all of the gold and gems stolen. So I went on a bit of a quest to recover all of the lost wealth. I found some of it, and I hired a guy called Gary to find the rest of it. He seemed trustworthy enough.
Yes, Gary seemed very trustworthy.
Trustworthy is maybe the wrong word, but he seemed transparent in his motives. Like if you pay him enough wealth, he'll help you out. So
That's good enough to trustworthy.
yes, I think so. And then on top of all that, I had a really great idea, which we could have had weeks ago, but I clairvoyanced the lair of the creature, but 5,000 feet in the air, therefore allowing me to see exactly where it was, which was a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. But then I polymorphed self to a giant eagle and flew over there.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed to be pointing to this sort of like ridge inside the mountains that I then I was a bit too scared to get close myself. So I cast monster summoning and pulled some goblins out of thin air, probably from the goblin town south of the Shadow Mountains, I like to think. And basically had them just charge down into the ravine to their deaths. And then I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of it, but in a moment of clarity, there was a bunch of smoke methods down there, which now is too much of a coincidence to be ignored. And it seems that smoke methods have something to do with the problem,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure what yet. So
Okay.
I think that's everything.
All right. Well, it is Wednesday, the 7th of December. Malachi is all alone in his tower or Aldrich's tower. Whose
I think
tower is this?
it's probably still. If anyone asks, it's my tower. But I think Malachi actually still probably thinks of it as Aldrich's tower, but he wouldn't admit that to anyone else.
Well, I have a complete list of all the books in his collection for you.
That
Um,
sounds great.
I'm gonna. I don't know how to send this to you. I'm gonna send
Just
it
PM
to. Yeah.
Discord? No?
Cool. It keeps its formatting. Nope. It's too many characters to send. I'll
Uh,
cut it down a
Put it
little
in a
bit.
Word doc and send it to me.
I think I'll just send it in two messages. It should be fine.
Okay. Okay.
There we go. Including such wonderful books as Conjuring for Beginners 1, Why Not, or What Not With Which to Meddle, and let's see, Basics of Enchanting 1, Common and Dangerous Mistakes, also A Vegan's Guide to Spell Components, and 1001 Uses for a Corpse. These are just some of the books that you have at your disposal now.
1,000. So there's a few necromancy books in here, right? There's There and Back Again, Necromancer's Tale.
Yes.
Virtues of Necromancy.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's also, interestingly enough, Aldrich the Conjurer, an autobiography.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one that's definitely worth checking out. But I'm scanning through it now. Is there anything to do with planar travel? Everything poops? No.
Is it Everything Poops 1 or Everything Poops 2?
Everything poops one.
Okay.
Extra dimensional space, the do's and don'ts of things bigger on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, illusions 4 and 5 didn't do him much good, did it?
No, they didn't. Illusions 4 is illusions versus delusions, and Illusions 5 is how to avoid going mad when nothing around you seems real.
I mean, can you read illusions 4 without having read illusions 1 to 3?
Sure, it's just you might be missing some of the original points, right? You might have some
Yeah.
questions about the basics.
Like it might refer to Lemma 2.1
Or
or
Illusions 1 is you probably shouldn't know this, but Illusions 1 is this book even real? And it talks about, being able to spot an illusion. So Illusions 4 and 5 or whatever you have, 4 and 5 will talk about things, but you might have basic questions like, wait a minute, how do I know what's real and what's not real? And you would kind of need to reference back to Illusions 1 and 2.
he actually has phantasmal illusions and how to recognize them. So, really he's dropped the ball on that one, hasn't he? Because he had all the tools necessary not to get ripped to pieces by a shadow troll, but
Oh well.
never mind. Shadows of Magic, the ethics of magic and war. That's pretty cool. An advanced guide to the basics of wizardry. Okay, so there's nothing that immediately strikes me as going to help me figure out what happened to Van and Jeeves and Bastion. Kine.
Not yet.
So, well, I do have something I want to do, actually. Is there somebody in the keep who can sew something for me?
Yeah, not in the keep, but in town, definitely.
So, I will have someone sew. I will explain to them my sigil and my house name, and I will have someone sew me my sigil. If you'd like to show it on stream,
I will start finding where it is.
I will send it to you again.
Thank you.
If you would like.
Yes.
Because I have had my own.
Here it is. I found it.
Like my own in real life peasant called White Mace design it for me.
Right. Let's pick this up. White Mace is your designer.
Yeah. Needleworker, IRL needleworker.
Okay. Just gonna put it over here for the time being.
I talk so much in the Discord chat with everyone that I almost feel like I've got my own sort of little council outside of the game as well.
Oh, that would be cool if we could set up a thing where you have like a council that is just comprised of the spoilers chat discussion.
Yeah.
And that represents whatever council meetings you have with your actual counselors.
That's quite cool.
Ooh. Okay, hold on. We should reconnect on this a little bit later. But continuing with the game, you find someone to make this. It says House of Darkmoor, from darkness we rise on it.
Yeah, and I won't explain this to them, but for chat, right? The idea is that you're not sure whether the sun is rising or setting. So to the layman, it might look like I'm saying, from darkness we rise, as in from the ashes of the problems of the old world comes a bright, shining new day.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun's rising. But what if the sun's setting into a night of eternal darkness, and from darkness we rise? Next level might take on a sinister new meaning.
Could be a lot of different things.
All right, so we get that done. And, well, should I refer to what's happening in the future or not?
Well, what are you doing today? What are you doing this week?
I think maybe I'm just waiting on a lot of different things to sort of play out. The magic mirror spell?
Yeah.
I need more books to start to research it, right? But can I begin my research and I just can't finish it until I get the books? Or do I need the books to even start?
I think you could probably start your research now, but you're going to come into problems right away with looking at these books. You don't have the ones that you need. And so part of your research would be... No, I think you probably need to examine... You might be able to do like a week before you realize that you don't have the right things and then need to go out and find other ones.
Right. Okay, so we can't do that yet. So I know where some books are.
The
Griffin Tower in Talon. Now, you see, the thing is, I could probably get there in a day.
If you flew directly to Talon?
Yeah, I could even stop off on Hobgoblin Island.
You could, but do you feel comfortable fighting an entire family of griffins by yourself?
Well, the goal wouldn't be to fight them; it would be to just sneak in and sneak out with the books. But maybe it's probably too much hassle for right now. So I don't know. I think maybe I'll start reading through the books that I've got here.
Well,
Maybe I'll just start flicking through the necromancy books.
okay.
Yeah.
You can start flipping through the necromancy books. I think each book will take you a couple of days to finish. They're fairly thick tomes, and they're not. I mean, they're written by academics, so they're fairly dense, and you'll have to reread things over and over and reference. So it'll take you a few days.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually have Chill Touch that I don't think I've learnt. So that's a necromancy spell. That's in Aldrich's book. So he's probably maybe made notes in the books about Chill Touch.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll research. I'll learn Chill Touch as I go.
Okay, that is a first level spell.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have a 75% chance to learn it?
Yep.
Ooh. It takes you 2 days, and you do not learn it. Or I guess you could force it in 1 day if you just sat down and studied that thing all day long. But either way, you fail Chill Touch.
Bad eggs.
Yes. However, while you are trying to learn Chill Touch, while you're focusing on the pronunciations and you're referencing Aldrich's other notebooks for information, you come across something that's a little bit strange. In the autobiography of Aldrich, the last page, which is kind of unfinished, it looks like he was in the middle of a thought, or finished a sentence and then hadn't started on the next paragraph. There's some wet ink still there, even though it's been quite a while since Aldrich died.
So that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
So as I get to the end of the page, then I'm imagining maybe what Aldrich, maybe he was writing it just as things came to an ugly head for him, and I look over to his desk. I don't sit at his desk, but there's probably a pretty large blood stain at his desk that's where he sort of met his untimely gaze. And I look back down to the page and read over the last page and see what does this wet ink say.
The wet ink, which you only noticed because you smudged it with your hand, says just why.
I look around. It says where I touch it and then see that the ink's wet, and then look around a little bit, panicked, and go down and I'll go and check the observatory, make sure there's no one up there or anything like that.
No, it's just you alone.
Go out and I'll just sort of go out of the door and go to the first person. How long does it take ink to dry? Like minutes?
Yeah. There's
So
no way there should be wet ink in this book. After all, it was also closed.
Huh. So I guess maybe close that book. Feeling slightly uneasy. Look over to the bloodstain again. Sort of harbor thoughts of ghosts and I'm sure there's another explanation. I'll go back to researching.
Okay. So it takes you a few days to read through these books, a day of doing Chill Touch. So we come to Saturday the 10th, and Malachi's here, probably taking a break from his study, throwing knives against that picture of... God, who is that woman? Have you figured it out yet?
Well, it might be in the autobiography.
Ooh!
I suspect it's his mother.
It is his mother. You find in the autobiography a mention of his mother's portrait that he hangs over his wall. Her name is Aldina, and according to his autobiography, she is dead and buried in one of the crypts underneath Shirebrook.
Ah, was she a wizard or anything like that?
No, she was a commoner.
Commoner. Okay. Does Aldrich's autobiography make reference to any sort of other caches of books he might have had hidden away somewhere, or
no?
Wealth?
This appears to be a very professional autobiography. There's not a word of any sort of unpleasantry. No secrets are spilled in here. This is like the image that he wanted to leave the world with.
Well,
it's quite flattering. And there's no mention of his bad attitude anywhere. Only the unwillingness of others to cooperate for the greater sake of magic and knowledge.
Did he do anything of note in his life, really?
He built this observatory. He did help bring Shirebrook out of some financial problems. He, did help set up, did help to advise the Baroness, did help to secure the mines from various monsters that have lived there in the past. He's done a great many good deeds for the town. He actually has been a beneficial influence. You know this personally and from the autobiography as well.
Very well. Well, I won't dwell on it too much. You know, every man's time must come to an end. Reading the passage about the mines, I don't think I've had much interaction with the mines. What's the deal with that? Dwarves?
Well, they're mines. The dwarves mostly work in them. They're
yeah.
not.
What do they mine?
I can actually answer this question very directly. I just need to look it up. There's a lot of resources in the world, and I can't remember where they all are positioned.
Is it a key strategic resource for Shirebrook, though, this mine?
There are many mines.
Okay.
Resource distribution chart. Gotta find Shirebrook on this baby. The only problem with this campaign is that I have so many notes on so many different things that it takes me forever to find anything. Okay.
I do actually have something I want to do today.
Shirebrook has no mines. Okay, so I guess the mines here in Shirebrook are actually pretty paltry. They're not a big enough resource to export to the rest of the world, but they are what feeds Shirebrook's needs for copper and lead and a little bit of zinc and a little bit of silver. It's small amounts, and it doesn't ever get pushed out to the rest of the world. It just feeds what Shirebrook does.
So let's say that there was some sort of dwarven workers' union. They wouldn't be that strong.
There's not a union, but it is important.
If somebody went to systematically, punish all of the dwarfs, it wouldn't be that bad. Because they wouldn't cost us that much.
I mean, it prevents you from relying on foreign sources of copper. It would be like if England just got rid of Scotland all of a sudden. What would you do for oil?
Nah, it almost happened. All right, so I'll tell you what I do want to do then. Today, I will put in 3 clairvoyant spells. Although I'm going to run out of pineal glands, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I put in 3 clairvoyant spells, and I want to try and... So you remember where I was in the ridge, looking down on the smoke methods?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my first clairvoyance just below the tree line, and then from there I'll see where my next one wants to be. So I'm going to do it at daytime, so hopefully there's some light coming through the canopy. So I'll try and
I'll the canyon.
I'll do some.
Give me an intelligence check. See if you can get it in the right spot.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. Sure enough, you get the clairvoyance position just below the canopy. You see that there's a little creek down there, and you see a trio of smoke mephits, or mist mephits, or some sort of mephits. They are propped up, kind of floating as if in a lazy boy chair, but just kind of floating in the air. Each one of them has this long pipe with all this billowing smoke coming out of it, and they are just seemingly hanging out in a semicircle. I guess that's a triangle since there's only 3 of them. Smoking their pipes and kind of floating in the air, surrounded by this smokish stuff.
So can I see any entrances to a cave or anything like that?
No, you cannot.
So I don't know how far the forest extends in either direction, but if I
right,
was
and
to
the
do
canyon extends pretty far. The
so
smoke. Go ahead.
I want to do another clairvoyance. I want to try and find the entrance. So I will summon it to the edge of my vision, and then half again. You know, trying to block
Right,
off as much space as I can to try and work out where the
And you've
entrance
got
might be.
3 of these?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the areas that you cover do not contain any cave entrances.
Is there area left to check, though?
Yeah, it's a long canyon that extends for miles, and if you're going down below the tree line, you don't actually have a huge area of sight.
Yeah.
So you could probably do this for weeks before you cover the entire canyon.
How high are the trees?
The top of the trees are the lower branches. The
Like,
lower branches are only like 6 or 7 feet off the ground. The upper branches are like 40 or 50 feet off the ground.
Okay, so it'd have to be a pretty big entrance to show through from above the canopy.
Right. So if you're having to like position the camera down near the bottom of the tree branches to see anything, which gives you a pretty small area of vision.
Yeah. All right. You know, I've got a plan for tomorrow. All right. I continue. Maybe I'll go and speak to Angus Landslide, see if there's any issues in the town that I should know about. Check up on Rohanna, see what she's up to. See if I can find Gary. Make sure that everyone's doing their jobs.
Sure. You go around, you check up on things. Gary, you actually run into Gary on his way to the keep at some point.
All right.
Gary comes to you with 2,000 gold in cash.
Oh wow, Gary. Gary, hey, I knew I picked the right guy. Come on, come in. I'll take Gary into the tower.
You don't mind? I'd rather not.
Why not?
Got a bit of a reputation, you know. Don't want to be seen hanging out with you in your place. Well, might undermine my usefulness, you know.
Fair enough. So how did it go smoothly?
Sure. Yeah.
You didn't have to kill anyone, did you?
No.
Good, good. Well, how much did you take for yourself?
The agreed upon amount.
Which was half of what you originally stole, which was what?
50%.
Yeah, I know what half means, Gary. I mean, how much? I'm gonna make sure you've been paid well enough for this fine job.
Oh, well, you could always chip out a few extra coins for me then.
Well, I'd rather you just tell me what you got, and then I can decide for myself.
You know, it's hard to say. You got 2 gems, one of them's blue, one of them's red. They're about the same size. You know, I just put them behind my back and kept one and handed the other one over to you. I'm not a great counter of gems, you know? I didn't screw you, though. I'm not that stupid.
I'll cast the SP, just to make sure.
All right. You immediately get his surface thoughts of, oh my god, he's casting a spell. What's going on? Is this the moment where I die?
I'm just reading your mind, Gary, to make sure that you are not screwing me.
You immediately get kind of surface thoughts of mermaids lounging out on rocks in the ocean, and birds flying around, and then this, you know, large, semi-hairy man wading out into the water, approaching the mermaids.
How much did you take, Gary?
Half, he says, and his mind echoes.
Okay, he's doing a good job of trying to. I mean, he gets a save, doesn't he?
If it's part of an interrogation, which I guess this is an interrogation, it seems to be working.
Okay. All right. Well, I let him go then. I'm not about to alienate Gary. I say to him, do you know of any other wealth in the city that could find a better home?
Yeah, there's a lot of wealth that could find a better home. Are you kidding? All the wealth could find a better home as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I have certain obligations, though. I can't offend important people. But if there's any other refugees that have made wealthy from theft, then certainly they could be encouraged to pay their taxes.
It sounds like Shirebrook could use some sort of morality constables. So into
Morality.
Yeah. Sounds like a good position to create in town.
Well, if you can bring me any more wealth, then we can discuss that position.
No problem. Well, I should go before anyone sees us talking. Maybe yell at me a little bit, give me a stern talking to. Don't want to be fondly associated with you.
All right, I'll look around.
Yeah, there are a few people about.
I'll shove him back and pull out like my dagger and like hold it to his throat and then walk off.
He scrambles away, cursing your name loudly. Everything else seems to be in place. Angus Landslide is prickly and cold and distant as every dwarf you've ever encountered except for Morin was.
Yeah. Oh well.
And you find yourself back in your tower, killing time, thinking about what you're doing by throwing these knives at this picture of Aldrich's mother, until you get this tingling sensation on the back of your neck. You've felt this before. There's someone watching you. There's someone somewhere eyeing you.
So, I think back to the message that I sent out to our friend in Misty Rapids, and being the smart chap I am, I immediately suspect that he is the one scrying upon me. So I will walk up to my picture of Aldrich's mother, pull the daggers out, and look up to the top of the room at whoever is looking down on me, and give a little wave, and sit back down in my chair and put my feet up, holding one of the daggers.
Some time passes, minutes. You're still being watched. And then, in the blink of an eye, there's someone standing before you.
Oh shit!
Like 5'10", dressed in. What are you dressed in?
Sleek black robes. I think I've even got a character sheet right here.
Let's get a description of you.
Well. What have we here?
I will roll.
I think there's a loud whiz and like a pop. Is that how you describe teleport as audible, right, Neal?
Yeah.
Like, sounds like the air is splitting.
So I'm kicked back on a chair right now, leaning back on the two back legs. I will roll a surprise check.
Yeah.
So what do I have to roll for surprise, Neal?
Higher than a 3 on a d10.
All right, I'm not surprised.
All right.
So I
not surprised.
rock forward down onto the chair, pull out my dagger, stand up, and say, "So the Wraith of the Tetherwilds, is it?"
Standing before you, I guess I'll read off my description here, as a strapping young lad in sleek black robes, skin of polished marble, literally, and slick black hair. I think we've got a picture on stream, which I can't quite see.
I will get that to you in just a moment.
I guess
I'll say a different overlay.
Yeah,
you're younger than I expected.
Wraith. I have known many names and many times.
So
some have whispered that one. But
are you here to help?
That depends. You called me.
Well, I assume.
I presume you are. I guess I take a moment to take stock of the room. I have, aside from I have no possessions or no weapons or anything.
You're just wearing your clothes.
Looks like clothes. And
do you have a staff in your hand?
No staff. So I take a minute to. It sounds like Malachi is on guard. Well, I don't know his name yet, but
yeah.
Yes, I am on guard.
Wizard is on guard. I take a moment to look around the room. I think I've got a reasonable enough description. I assume you're Aldrich's apprentice, then?
No, not quite. Aldrich, well, he left for greener pastures, or wetter pastures. I sheath the dagger, or just throw it back on the table. So, there's much to be discussed. I'm told that you're an expert on dimensions.
This is true. I can't say I've heard much of you.
Seems my name doesn't travel quite as far as yours, much to my own discomfort.
But from what I could piece together of the ramblings of your feeble-minded messenger, sounds like shit's really hit the fan here in Shirebrook.
Well, that's an understatement. Yeah, this isn't the first time I've sought you out. I visited your keep with my friend, a cleric named Van Helsing.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, he's no longer here. Well, it's quite a long story. If he were here, he could show you exactly what's happened, but I'll just have to try and
Can I get
explain.
perception checks from both of you at this moment, please?
Oh, so it begins.
Ooh, just under.
Boom.
No, I think I'm like furiously inspecting. I'm probably looking at the bench, trying to get a read on what he's been researching or reading.
So
Too engrossed to notice whatever just happened.
mid-sentence, Malachi, you hear this unusual shrieking sound coming from outside the tower somewhere, kind of off in the distance. You've never heard a shriek like this before, but there's some weird noise just kind of almost fading away, like you can barely catch it, but it stops you mid-sentence because it's...
Hold that thought. I'll, giving him a wide berth, circle around him to the window in the tower and look out.
Give me a second perception check, please.
There you go.
You see a dark shape in the sky. It's difficult to make out what it is, but it's some sort of very large avian creature.
You
quickly lose sight of it behind, as it kind of dips out of the sky and goes behind the tower and out of your view. But
when you say a dark shape in the sky, does it look like a flying shadow, or does it look like an actual creature?
like a fucking dragon.
What the fuck? I turn around wide-eyed. Did you hear that?
I think you turn around to see me like reading whatever was on your bench. What? You're right.
There's a fucking dragon out there. What the fuck?
Oh, don't be silly. I walk over to the window and look out. Is
There's
there still
no
any
dragon.
ocean?
No.
I think... how did you get here?
How did I get here? You see, well... Lost in thought. Struggling to explain teleportation to a lesser mind. I probably mumbled. Georg mumbles that to himself as he looks back up at Malachi. So,
okay.
Why exactly have I been brought here? Do you?
Well, I don't hear any screams, do I, Neal?
No.
Okay.
Well,
look, I'll start at the beginning, right? So, you know the Shadow Mountains. Look here.
Quite well. Yes.
I take you upstairs to the observatory where I've got a map laid out on a table. So I point to where the dwarven village is that we first stumbled upon. So we went to this village to investigate some dwarves that had not been in contact with Shirebrook for a while. They provided copper, other metals to the city. And when we got there, everyone was gone. There was not a dwarf to be seen, not a broken vase or a knocked over chair. There was some smoke methods living in one of the dwarven huts. And a detect magic spell revealed a large... an afterglow of some horrendously powerful illusion spell.
Horrendous illusion. Don't be silly. Yes, I do seem to recall Ramdal talking about this. He didn't think much of it.
Well, neither did I at the time.
Said you'd had it covered. Well,
yeah.
Aldrich's apprentice had it covered.
Wait, did you just hear that?
You said that's not you. Yes, I did. I rush over to the window. Would I know from the observatory? Can you see out during the day? Or
no. It's a proper observatory that's closed off.
Okay.
Should go back downstairs.
Yeah, I peek out the window to see if I can see.
You just see the courtyard and the town around you, but you can't see all the way around the tower, right? It's only got a couple windows. So there's big blind spots.
There's no screams there. Screams, is there?
No.
Can you just wait here a second?
Yes, that's right. I suppose you wouldn't want me seen out and about town.
You're quite.
I can entertain myself.
Well, don't touch anything.
What? As you're like rushing out the door, you hear me like shouting up from the floor above you.
Well, I'm not.
It's your stuff, anyways. And
I'm not rushing out the door.
To make myself at home.
I cast a spell, but I'll warn you that not to be worried first.
I'm sending you, Ryan, the list of all the books in Aldrich's Tower, because you'll be able to look at all of these, at least to see their titles.
I would actually be a little concerned if Malachi starts casting a spell. I don't know that I'm going to at least roll a spellcraft check to see if I can check what it is. I don't think I'll be
Give me a...
It might be not int base, or not full int.
Doesn't matter. You've got rolled an 18. None of your stats are 2.
Yeah, so what spell are you casting, Nick?
Polymorph Self.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll take a step back and you do this right in front of Gaylord, guys.
Well, I mean, I'm going to warn you off. I don't want to panic you, so I'll.
I know exactly what's going on. You kidding? I'm an archmage. You're That's crazy. I've never seen someone polymorph themselves before, though.
So I cast the spell. Nothing happens, and then a moment later, I will turn into a bird and fly out the window.
Okay.
Well, I'll be damned. I look up from look up from the library to watch the spectacle.
And I'll
down with it.
Fly to the top of the tower and look around the city for a dragon.
You don't see any dragons anywhere.
Okay.
The place is devoid of them.
Whereabouts did I see it fly over?
It was headed west.
So I will go to that end of town, stop a peasant by appearing in front of him and ask him what he saw.
Yeah. There's a shaky peasant, eyes glued to the sky, that you stop in front of. He blinks rapidly as you appear, a little terrified.
What did you see? Quickly!
A dragon!
Where?
Up there.
What color was it?
I don't know, it had like a greenish yellow color to it? Like a golden color, maybe? Or like a dingy copper? I don't know.
Where did it go?
He just points to the west.
What's to the west?
Well, to the west would be the Swampwater River, half of the Shirebrook Forest. Pretty much everything, actually, is to the west.
All right.
Farmland is a little bit more northern, mostly to the north, but everything else is westward, because east is the ocean. So, everything's in that direction.
I find a guard. You, gather your colleagues and make sure that no one is missing from the town. That dragon could be what's caused the disappearances.
How do we make sure no one's missing from the town? It's not like we've got a complete census data on.
Yes, well, it was pretty fucking obvious last time, wasn't it?
Oh, I see. You got it. Yeah. Okay. And then takes off.
All right, I'll fly back to the tower.
Right.
Poof through the window. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I look up from Aldrich's copy of Magic and Sciences, Damn the Consequences, and Just Do It. Did you see anything out there?
Apparently there's a dragon. A green dragon.
A green dragon? In Shirebrook? I scratch my chin thinking about... Must be... How big? I
don't know.
Here?
It flew off to the west, apparently. But look, we need to... Could this be responsible? Could a green dragon cast powerful magic? Do you know anything about dragons?
A bit. Only the older ones tend to get much grasp of magic. And I don't think greens are known for their intelligence.
Well, I'd finish my story
I don't think this could have anything to do with your missing villages, if that's what you're asking.
Let us finish the first tale, and then do you have many enemies in town?
I suppose you would rather not be seen with me.
Well, I guess it depends
Have
on
a
the
reputation.
enemies.
Very well then. I pull my hood up. Let me just check something really quick. Where is?
I've heard Rohanna speak of you before.
Yeah,
Something-
let me.
Something to do
Respond to that in
with
just a second. I might be, if I have it prepared. I do have an invisible. Okay, yeah. So I pull my hood. Like, I guess as you're saying, Rohanna said some things about me, and we were suggesting to leave. So I will go invisible. I pull up my hood and like turn around really quickly, and just you've got invisibility to spell. Although I did it without any components. Right? Without any audible component. And okay, and then you say Rohanna said some things about you. I chuckle. I don't think we'll get into Rohanna right now. Rohanna, maybe we will. And I guess do
you have people that I should avoid seeing you? That should avoid seeing me with you in town?
You've heard the whispers, have you not?
The townsfolk speak whispers of all wizards. Only a fool would believe them all. Killed a vampire, I heard. Burned down a hall full of the nobles of Rainwood. I'm sure that's not true.
That one actually is, but in any case, I don't think Rohanna would. Well, I don't know what she'd think of you if she.
Well, she trusts my judgments, and at least this far, you seem not quite what they said you were. Come, let's let me finish my tale. So, I don't know if you want to. You've seen the show, right? So you know what happened.
Wasn't there just a dragon sighting in town?
Yeah, there was.
We're investigating that dragon. What are you, crazy? I didn't turn invisible to have a conversation.
I didn't.
I'm gonna go.
I didn't think it was your problem, Georg. But if you want to help,
have you ever seen a dragon?
No. Well, yes. Now. Come, fine. Help.
Well, I still haven't, and okay.
All right, we're going to take our first break here, and when we come back, we will see what's going on. So see you guys on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.